comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So welcome everybody to another installment of Uninformed with your host, comedian David Boyle. Uninformed is a segment where I take a topic I know virtually nothing about and go on a deep exploration of it. The topics we've explored so far are Brexit, global warming, and the economy. This week we're going to take a little look at the hoax I like to call science. Now, I'm not totally uninformed with science. I did take physics in year 10, and I probably would have been pretty good at it if my teacher wasn't Mr. Carney, the fucking bonghead, who would go to his panel van at lunchtime and get baked and come back after lunch so high he couldn't answer questions. Since this pandemic rolled into town, everyone seems to be worshipping scientists and doctors like they know what's going on. Fuck them. I liked it better when people were worshipping celebrities. The poor celebrities have taken a hit, and now we're putting these scientists, nerds, and doctors on a pedestal like they fucking know anything. I will save doctors for another week. This week is solely about science. So everyone seems to think science is going to save us. Yay, science. The only thing science needs to save us from is science. Name one fucking good thing in the history of humanity that science has given us. See, you can't even name one thing, neither can I. And you're probably thinking, well, if it wasn't for science, you wouldn't be talking into this recorder and be able to send out your podcast to everyone in the world. No, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing that I can do that. The world would have been fine without that. It would have got along just fine. What about vaccines? What about modern medicine? They kill you. Look on the warning label of any fucking medicine you take and see what the side effects are. You take some Viagra, you're going to have a heart attack. You use drugs so your hair doesn't fall out, you stop getting a boner, you need to take Viagra, you have a heart attack. It's all interlinked and it's all fucked. Do you know what one of the biggest life-saving innovations in medical history was? It was making surgeons wash their hands before surgery and before childbirth and after taking a shit. That's not science, that's washing your fucking hands. And do you know how long it took to implement that? The first guy who figured out that washing your hands would save lives got fired, and they didn't adopt the hand washing thing till 20 years later. But don't worry about that. There's bigger concerns. What about the internet? What about computers? What about phones? Yeah, what about them? Has any of that really improved our life? I saw a 6-year-old girl walk into a fence today because she was looking down at her fucking iPhone. And I completely understand that. I get where she's coming from. Because I'm the same. I would rather scroll through Instagram than make eye contact with my kid. So don't tell me that shit's made the world better. It's torn the fabric of society at the seams. And fucking Elon Musk, he's got Neuralink. He's like, we're going to put the internet into your head. And I'm like, is that a good idea? Is that a really good idea? Do we need an infinite amount of porn accessible directly into our brains when we blink? Do we need that? And he's like, we've already got phones. That's basically what Neuralink is. I'm like, yeah. And the phones are destroying the fabric of our society. You fucking idiot. And then he's sending a rocket to Mars. What do we need to go to Mars for? We went to the moon. What did we get from the moon? Tell me what we got from the moon. All we got was a few pictures of fucking Louis Armstrong playing golf with Buzz Lightyear. That's it. That was the whole adventure to the moon. And then people are also like, if it wasn't for science, we wouldn't be able to feed all the people in the world. I'm like, what do you mean feed all the people in the world? All the people in the world aren't getting fed. There's a bunch of fat fucks eating more than everyone, and there's a bunch of starving fucks not eating anything. And there's no one in the middle. We've got fat fucks and starving fucks. If you stop making so much food, the only thing that would happen is the fat fucks would get a little bit skinnier, but the starving fucks would still be starving. What about books? Books are a technology. The printing press was a technology. Science helped invent that. Fuck books too. What good have they done? Every single book ever written has destroyed the world. We went like 70,000 years where stories and tales were passed on by word of mouth, and then they came out with fucking books, and they had the Bible, the Quran, Das Kapital, Mein Kampf, 50 Shades of Grey, and then an infinite amount of cookbooks so the fat fucks can get fatter. You don't need any of this shit. It's all bullshit. Science is a fucking horror story any direction you look. Then you got scientists looking for black holes and string theory and other dimensions, and shut up. Just take a fucking hit of DMT and see it, and don't try and work it out. Just watch it. then you'll realize all your tinkering's for nothing because everything is inside you already. We're embarking now on a million-year fucking dead end. What we really need is a nice little spot where we can be alone in peace and quiet and sit with our thoughts for the next 10,000 years. That's the only way we're going to evolve. And that's it. I think I've fixed science tonight, and I think I've changed a lot of minds and hearts. Thanks for joining me on another roller coaster installment of Uninformed with comedian David Boyle. Science, think about it. What has it really done? All right, see you the fuck later.